What is going on, y'all? Psych Perspectives, GeoFucks. And we gonna talk about this because I just left my granny's and my mom's, and I just want to say this real quick because I know a lot of people can probably relate. When dealing with the narcissists or narcissistic people, probably put that back on real quick. When dealing with narcissistic people, you probably have noticed this. Narcissistic people know who they can play these games with. They don't treat everybody the same, okay? And then when you look at it from a familiar, dealing in a family setting, they treat everybody differently. So in this setting, and don't get me wrong, I love my granny, love my mom, love my uncle, miss my papa, loved him, still love him. But it's obvious that we have a very dysfunctional, toxic family structure. And the reason it's like that, in my opinion, definitely is because of, Granny and Papa. But Papa's been gone. He passed away 7 years ago. So this is mostly Granny at this point, right? And in many cases, it can be argued that it was always her. Because, again, you have physical abuse and you have mental abuse. There's sexual abuse, too. Financial abuse. But in my opinion, mental abuse is far worse than physical abuse, in my opinion. I mean, granted, at the end of the day, abuse is abuse and it shouldn't be happening, point blank, period. And it's wrong, and it can cause a lot of PTSD and mental health issues, and it hurts, and it shouldn't be taking place. But in my opinion, the reason why I think mental abuse has a lot more of an impact is I can get punched in the face right now, have a black eye or a busted lip, and yes, it's gonna hurt. Yes, you're gonna be shocked. Yes, you might be like flinch and have issues, but you're gonna move on. Meanwhile, mental abuse, you're not moving on from that. Case in point, why are we still struggling at 30 and 40 and 50 because of the shit we dealt with when we were children? That's my whole point. Meanwhile, I'm not tripping about falling off my bike when I was 5 at 30, but I am tripping about the psychological damage of being molested, the psychological damage of neglect, etc. So that's what I mean by you can move on from physical issues in many cases. Mental, not so much. That's going to take a lot more work. But anyways, I'm going to say this quick. I always say this. Let's try to keep it under 10, right? 10 minutes or less. So in the narcissistic family structure, you'll notice everybody has a role. You have the golden child, who basically is the narcissist's favorite for the time being. And then you have the scapegoat child, or the black sheep, who the narcissist hates, treats like shit, doesn't really care for, always has something negative to say about that one. And then you have the lost child, who's like there, but like the narcissist doesn't really have time all the time for the lost child. Doesn't even act like the lost child don't even exist sometimes. That's why it's called the lost child. And then, mind you, these roles can be interchangeable. Like, you could go from being the golden child, for the first few years or for today, to being the scapegoat black sheep child later, to being the lost child later on down the road. It just depends on who's there and what, and if you're kissing the narcissist's ass, or if the narcissist views you, whatever. I'm just gonna be real. And you notice how the narcissists interact with each child, or each child in this situation, or each offspring in this situation. So when it comes to my uncle has always pretty much been the golden child. And I also feel like a lot of times within the black community, boys, men, sons, they're treated way better than the girls and the women and the daughters. And I feel like that's across racial, ethnic groups in general, but it's something to watch within the black community, because again, the son can do no wrong. Case in point, the son can be a child molester, rapist, drug dealer, gangster thug, and in the same breath, that's my baby, oh, free TT. But let somebody be gay and it's, you going to hell, you crazy ass faggot, and all of this. But like I said, the drug dealer, the child abuser, the molester, that's my son. He can live with me until he's 67 years old in a damn basement. I'm child. Anyways. And I'm not saying that's my uncle, but you will see this in our communities. And you know I'm telling them like it is. It is what it is. But he's treated different. Like, Granny is not going to sit up and immediately come at him with disrespect and name calling and belittling and she's always thinking that people are in competition with her, and or if you have a little more information about something, she has to argue you down because she has to be the one in authority of everything, even over topics and subjects that she has no clue about. She is going to dictate that whole situation. And like I said, my uncle, he comes, he visits, he checks in. That's his mom, you know what I mean? And he's laying on the couch chilling. Meanwhile, my mama can't do that, because Granny finna be disrespecting her, name calling her, belittling her, questioning her. You lying, staring at her all. That's another thing about narcissists. They always staring at everybody and doing all of these stupid ass faces like you a damn child. So you'll be sitting there minding your business, eating or on your phone, and then she's in the corner. And it's like, what? You are childish and mentally ill, because that is ridiculous. Who does that? But she's always been there for us. She's been there for her family. She provides, she protects. But it's a lot of mental and psychological abuse. It's a lot of verbal abuse. It's a lot of shit that should not be taking place. It's a lot of financial abuse as well. And it's just something that I notice more and more now that I've been in this, this healing journey for basically 4 years. And I've been processing and in counseling and in therapy and writing my thoughts and speaking my thoughts and, practicing healthy boundaries and accountability and holding myself accountable and checking my own shit. And it's like, you do it and it becomes who you are. And then you realize you don't want to be around toxic ass people. And if you notice, when you're hanging around these types of people, you can't be around them too long. I mean, shit, 15-30 minutes in, I'm ready to go, because you're about to say something stupid. You always have to start an argument. You always think you know every damn thing, and you don't. Just like I don't know every damn thing. We all can learn, and there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. But why do you feel like you got to be the damn authoritative person over every damn conversation, topic, subject, whatever it may be? Somehow you're the encyclopedia of it all, right? So, and then here it is, we're all laughing, me and my uncle, we're talking about other stuff, and then here she goes, yeah, and your mama didn't have $2.50 for her ride. And I don't understand how you ain't got no money. And it's just like, you always got to put my mom down. And it's a bunch of triangulation. And then two, you're trying to embarrass my mom and put her down in front of me, her child, and in front of my uncle, her brother. And then you notice how none of us are feeding into this, because we've all picked up on the game. We see you for who you are now. And narcissists don't even realize it in many cases, but sooner or later, people pick up on the patterns of behaviors. And now I just leave. I'm like, oh, this is my cue to head on out, because I don't want my mood to be in the shitter. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be in that setting. I don't want my mindset to be ruined because you want to do your typical narcissistic nitpicking. But notice how they treat each child, offspring, person. They don't treat everybody like shit because they know they can't play that mess with everybody. And then again, if they view you as the golden child, they're going to dote on you anyways. Which is also, and don't get me wrong, the golden child also still is going to be mentally abused, verbally abused, but it's going to be totally different. And a lot of times with golden children, if they don't break away from the narcissistic parental figure, they end up being very codependent and almost like infantilized because like they're adults but they don't know how to do a lot of stuff because the narcissist is so controlling. So it's a lot of stuff that they should know how to do that they don't know how to do at their age because literally mommy dearest is controlling the show. This is why, and I'm gonna say it, this is why when you look at a lot of cis men, they don't know how to cook, clean. A lot of them are lazy, don't want to work, don't understand that you need to have a job or you need to be making income because they can always go and run back to mommy dearest. And then they treat their significant others like they're supposed to be their damn mother. And this is what happens when you have narcissistic women who become mothers who are, I'm just being real. You really want to know why the black community, well, there's many reasons why I believe the black community is in disarray, but look at these damn mothers. Look at these damn fathers. It starts at home in a lot of cases. And a lot of us are coming from these narcissistic, dysfunctional, toxic, emotionally manipulative, abusive, controlling, unavailable ass households and family structures. And that's why a lot of us don't know how to convey our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings. That's why a lot of our relationships don't really pan out because a lot of us are mimicking and repeating what we saw growing up. This is why therapy and counseling is so important. This is why mental health needs to be a priority. And you can heal. It is possible. It is doable. But you got to have the resources, the support, and the environment to do it. And a lot of us don't have that. And this is over 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm out.